Once upon a time, in a village known for its prosperity, people lived in harmony, always helping one another with kindness and care. The village thrived under the wise guidance of an old elder, who constantly reminded everyone that the greatest wealth was not gold, but the kindness shared between neighbors. Among the villagers lived a rich merchant whose heart was set on only one thing: his fortune. He believed that kindness had no place in business, and that only wealth could bring happiness. While his neighbors were content with their simple lives, the merchant only sought more riches, ignoring their gestures of goodwill. One day the merchant decided to travel to a distant city to expand his wealth even further. He packed his cart with heavy bags of gold, ready for the long journey. As he prepared to leave, several villagers offered him water and food for the trip, but he waved them away, confident that his gold would provide him with everything he needed. As the merchant ventured far from the village, a fierce storm suddenly descended. Dark clouds filled the sky, and the wind howled as rain poured down. The road turned to mud, and the merchant's cart struggled to move forward. Lost in a vast, deserted forest, he realized that his wealth was useless against the power of nature. He had no shelter, no warmth, and no way to find his way back. Exhausted and cold, the merchant sought refuge under a large tree. Just as he thought he might not survive the night, a stranger appeared. The stranger, dressed in simple robes, approached him with a warm smile, offering him a cloak and a lantern. "You seem lost," the stranger said gently. "Let me help you." Grateful and surprised, the merchant accepted the stranger's help. Together, they made their way through the storm to a small cabin where the stranger offered him food and warmth. The merchant sat by the fire, watching the flames dance. And for the first time in his life, he began to reflect on what had just happened. His gold, the very thing he had thought would protect him, had been worthless in his time of need. It was the kindness of a stranger that had saved him. The next morning, as the storm cleared, the merchant thanked the stranger and began his journey back to the village. But something had changed within him. When he returned, he no longer saw his neighbors as lesser or his fortune as the greatest thing in his life. Instead, he filled his cart not with gold, but with food, blankets, and gifts. As he entered the village, the people were surprised to see him handing out the goods freely, helping those in need with a genuine smile. He shook hands, embraced his neighbors, and shared his wealth for the first time. From that day on, the merchant became a beloved figure in the village. No longer was he known as the man with the most gold, but as the man with the biggest heart. The village thrived even more, not just in riches, but in the kindness that flowed freely from one person to another. The old elder, watching from his bench, smiled as the sun set over the village. The merchant had learned what the elder had always known, that the greatest treasure is not found in gold, but in the kindness we give and receive. Moral of the story: the greatest treasure is not found in what we keep, but in what we give to others.